Today, this crazy bitch that lives over here at 734 Harahan Road pulled a gun out. It's like, I got you, I got you, I got a license for a gun. So anyway, I went ahead and went around, walked where and went up to the store, called the police at the store, right? Okay, so the police, they never did show up. See, like their thing is like the police are so hateful here, and it's because of the politics that they have to go through in their training, and it reminds me of the police department in New York when they let their first woman in and she modeled for Playboy. So that's like the mentality is that of of that's the how they are, you know and but so they didn't because like I didn't come out a few times when this other guy that was no longer living here was coming on my property, and I tried to explain to him there's no reason for him to be on my property. And I think it was hard for them to comprehend that somebody that had been in jail like he had and got raped in jail like he had prefers men now, and has a problem with women for the fact, from what I heard from his history, that when his mom was sick and dying and couldn't afford to do things for him, he beat her. And then he wasted all the money and lost the property, and Lurleen allowed him to stay here free, as Larry Jones, that. And well, he was supposed to pay, but he didn't like to pay. And so then, because he didn't like to pay bills, or and he was able to live free, for some reason he thought he was entitled. He thought like, oh well, when she dies, he's gonna stay here. It didn't work that way. you know um uh, and so, he got a restraining order on me, on my property, and he hadn't even been living here for over, like, ever since he had to, I kicked him out. You know, um, uh, for the simple fact that he's a alcoholic crackhead, on the down low, bringing crack dealers up on the property. Can't have that. But anyway, I digress. Getting back to that girl. So, you know, so like the first cop, when when I asked the one cop, I'm like, well, I called twice. He gonna tell me that it's none of my business, and I'm like, okay, let me get this straight. It's none of my business. You know, I'm like, her pointing a gun at me twice is none of my business. Because first she was out on the street pointing the gun. All the other neighbors saw her. You know what I mean? I had been busy working on my back property on Gillis, cleaning it up and everything. And she gonna say I did something with her fucking kids. I don't have a problem with her fucking kids. I feel her kids don't deserve to have a trifling, hateful mother. You know what I'm saying? And the whole family's fucked up. The whole family's fucked up. And part of the problem is like they all got beat so fucking much. They believe in whooping them. So now they're violent. You know what I'm saying? She want to fight me, but it's not like I'm only 30 years older than her. First of all, second of all, you know what I'm saying? The first she come out, she could beat the hell out of her fucking kids, but she can't. Like, if she wanted to fight me, she could come with her hands, mom them up. Yeah, I would have beat the fuck out of her. Of course I would have, because I'm taller than 2 feet. She's only used to beating her fucking kids. You know what I'm saying? But the cops, like, instead of like, this is what I mean by they're 180 out, and they must be fucking miserable. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to be, part of your thing is that you have to belittle somebody else and bully somebody else to make yourself feel great. How low are you really? Because no matter how, but anyway, to me, it's just an excuse for them not to do work. They didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? And then they didn't. And then the other, anyway, they didn't want to come talk to me. When I tried to talk to them, they were like, "Oh, what's your diagnosis?" They suspended. I signed a paper the doctor's office where they they say without your permission, they could suspend your records. Now, if you suspended my medical records and you can't comprehend what you read, then maybe y'all need to be mad at the schools. That's the same thing I think's wrong with that girl. She got failed by her parents. Her mom was, her mom and her grandma, they believe in hitting. They have a bunch of kids that are fucked up, useless, all of them the same way. They've been doing the same shit, and then they get the same results, right? They keep doing the same shit, the same results. 4 generations, they're losers. All of them, they beat the fuck out of them and went to church, and they went to school over here in this area. All of them are losers. Why don't they sue the schools? Because you know what I'm saying. I'm just, you know what I'm saying. But I was told that this is how these people are. You know, is she gonna call me dumb or stupid? Fine, I will be dumb or stupid before I be an ignorant, hateful, double-minded, narcissistic ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? But the police department here is so trifling and so roguish. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is what I wanted to allude to. Like, instead of like do unto others as you want others to do unto you, they like to do shit that other people do that they found like aggravating or hurtful. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they, that's what they'll do. You know what I'm saying? It perpetuates their ill will towards other folks, their hate. So and it's a lot of self hate in the South. It's just like in New York at Hell's Kitchen when they had that first female policeman, and she goes and play a Playboy. Yeah, okay, they're all like happy and everything else. And nobody has respect for somebody that don't have respect for themselves. You know what I'm saying? If the police department wants respect, they need to first respect themselves. You know what I'm saying? You cannot demand respect. I was taught this way. Respect is something you can't demand. Respect is just something that you earn. By being projecting the respect that you have for yourself on other people. And one thing I found out by the South and people that got whooped is that they don't understand respect. They 180 out. We got a real fucking problem in the South. It's an excuse for the police not to do their fucking work. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have to test. Like that's one of the things. Like especially with the Republican type of thinking. You know what I'm saying? It's not that we have a problem in the United States with job loss and the highest amount of people in prison, right? The problem is, oh, we got too much violence. So they're going to let this violent bitch, the third generation getting the fuck beat out of her, you know what I'm saying? And she beating her fucking kids, you know, and as being a woman, I understand. Yeah, there's a lot of shame with being a woman because first of all, the shame is like if this woman over here is doing something looks crazy, right? It's supposed to, especially if you're a black. Oh, you're supposed to that they're supposed to represent you. They're not representing me. No, they're not your role models or anything like that. So in my world, they're not a role model. You know what I'm saying? If they an actor, because the actors usually they're liars. They're make believing. So I'm gonna have a role model as a liar. So they got a twisted thing when they buy into propaganda. They gotta have a role. The TV people are your role model. It's all about sports. The only thing they know is to get fucked, beat their kids, and watch television, so they can figure out how they're supposed to be. And it's sick. And they want to know what's wrong with. Let me tell you something. When I was in the Superdome, they had the police in there, and like really, like the was that after the second night they went and some of the boys went around and they're busting open the Coke machines and getting Coke and everything, and we all got Coke. The Coca-Cola people, their ass is covered. They don't even get they don't really give a fuck because they're already gonna get paid insurance, right? The police taking the Coke and then going around and drinking it, right? And then like all at once they couldn't handle it, I mean, arresting like they were in, even though they were black policemen in New Orleans, they were surrounded by what they were scared of. Here's those people, and like whatever they're just people that couldn't get out of the city because they didn't have any money, and they're teenagers without with sorry sort of situations. Their parents are either in jail or on drugs, or they got problems. They're with their grandparents. The grandparents are elderly with diabetes. You know what I'm saying? These people have like real medical health problems and stuff that causes them, and one of them is the situation. So the policemen, they panicked, they ran off, and thank God the TV propaganda is like all once they thought about their family. Because if they thought about their family in the first fucking place, um, they would realize they're part of the society, and you know you reap what you sow. But anyway, so they call it a National Guard. We wake up with machine guns in our fucking face. I stand up, I'm like, hey, why we got fucking machine guns? So finally, like, they didn't like the way, like, I was going and giving, like, two people that was in a wheelchair not able to walk their food. So they got pissed off, everybody's only supposed to get one food. I'm like, well, what about the people that are handicapped? So they just stopped giving food. You know what I'm saying? Their whole idea of helping us was hindering us. We had witnessed one person could, succumb to the heat and the lack of food, die. So really, their whole policies and the policies that we're gearing to is causing more health problems, more death, and the police, like in that situation, again, they had a good excuse not to do work. It's just like here, oh, this bitch is running up and down the street threatening somebody. She need to be put away. Her kids is right there. It's harmful. It's more harmful to her fucking kids to see a psychotic ass. Well, most psychotic people are not violent. Some, I, like. Like, that's probably why the police when they got a hold of my records couldn't comprehend, because they're not doctors. And what am I supposed to say? Oh, the reason why I get a disability check is because I wasn't whooped and raped as a child, as these people are. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. What's wrong with a lot of these women over here? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to have sex. You're not supposed to have teen pregnancy. But older men come and like are sexually aroused and look at you. You look nice, and they got to say something. Makes you uncomfortable. They feel, a lot of men feel like it, they, because they watch X-rated stuff, that certain behavior, like if they dick gets hard for looking at a pretty woman, that woman shouldn't reject them. You know what I'm saying? So as a woman, you have to forsake your wants and needs, and to pay, and like, well, they used to tell me when I was like in elementary school, like, acting is believing. Like, so you're supposed to forsake your feelings, and then if you do it enough, yeah, like, it's like, I remember, like, there were like women, like, when I was also in elementary school, talking about they never had an orgasm, but like, if you fake it long enough, you believe it. So like it's like when your mouth salivates when you're thinking about food, your vagina salivates, has moisture in there to keep the friction down. That's why there's a problem when you get older and you go to menopause, you get some dryness, right? Guys, and I know females that think that moisture is their orgasm. Oh, it got wet, so that's, and it's not. But you know what I'm saying? But you're trained to think that, because otherwise it just, it's just like you're just looked at as an object. You're just looked at something that, yeah, like a toilet, or uh what I'm saying, something to be tossed away when the guy's roaming eyes see something else. So you know what I'm saying, so you have this illusion that uh that sex is love, and it's not. So anyway, so the fucking Memphis Police Department has more, is training their people to cause more harm and damage. You know what I'm saying? And you could look at the results of the city. And I'm just saying, if you want to see, the easiest example is all the trash that's around, and that's an example of the type of politics. The neighbor over here that's a policeman, he don't killed my peach tree, got some purple irises, and honeysuckles, right? Because I got a lot of weeds. Honeysuckles is not weeds. They smell pretty. And I'm leaving the dead shit on the fence too, since you like, you know what I'm saying? Because like a bitch that could beat their kids, like that, And I saw him beat a fucking puppy. So a bitch that can beat her kids and beat a puppy. Yeah, the bitch wearing around with a gun. Yes, those are that's how you breed a murderer, by whooping them. Yes, that's how you get people that likes to hit. If you hit your kid, you was teaching them to hit. They have not teach their. I don't see her interacting with her kids in any other way. If she puts them out on the street to play, like you put your dog out or you put your cat out, like they're pets or some shit, you know. She talks to them like all fucking crazy, sent them down the street and said, I called the fucking dog pound on her fucking dog when I was telling her about a puppy across the fucking street in case she saw the dog pound to let them know where that puppy was, you know, and she gonna turn around. I didn't know she was that fucked up. Their excuse is, oh well, they're jealous. Oh well, she dark skinned, light skinned shit. No, she's fucking ugly because she's brought up to think in such a corrosive, negative way that she just has an ugly soul. So it doesn't really have to do with her face or anything. Once you start talking to the motherfucker, once you realize what type of shit this bitch is, you just like, ew. So she thinks it's her face. No, it's not your face. You just, what I'm saying, from being whooped before you could walk or talk, every time, a new man came in your life, your mom's life, he becomes your daddy, you know what I'm saying? And of course, a man that's all about watching X-rated stuff and self gratification. What the fuck? Here, you're a little girl. You're there. You're not important. You're just a female. You're just a sex tool. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not just a tool. I'm actually a human fucking being with human frailties. And one thing I think is that this city is so fucking sorry. That bitch should, you know what I'm saying? She should take parenting classes. They need to sue the fucking schools, because how all these motherfuckers graduate from high school over here in Mitchell, and what are they just graduating to prostitution and crack? What type of fucking school is that?